Hey y'all, it's Reverend Will coming to you from First Christian Church in Fulton. Well, coming to you from my home office. I'm the senior minister at First Christian Church in Fulton, Missouri. And every week, about this time, 11 o'clock on Wednesdays, I come to you live with this week's devotion. I write this on Mondays and email it out to people who want to get it right in the morning then. But now you get it, me reading it to you. So we'll get right into it. It's an interesting story, a funny story, a story about me and my wife. One summer, some years ago, Hannah and I were driving back home. We'd taken a vacation to go to Washington, D.C. We drove all the way from Iowa there. And on the way, we took the straight shot. We were going to DC and we wanted to get to DC. But on the way home, we decided to take the scenic route. History, Civil War buff that I am, I wanted to at least drive through the Shenandoah Valley. And so we did. The national park we went through was gorgeous. I had to stop myself from pulling over at all the different lookouts. I'm pretty sure I filled up my phone's memory with all the scenic pictures that I took. It wasn't fall yet, so there wasn't foliage, but that didn't really matter. But going through that park, meant we had to make a more meandering way home, one that took us through the Appalachian Mountains. It shouldn't have been a problem. I mean, we had Google Maps after all. We had smartphones, and so we followed them. Google would never steer you wrong. And then we started following the directions for the quickest route to Charleston. We left the interstate for a 4-lane highway. Then the 4-lane highway turned into a 2-lane highway. And then the 2-lane highway turned into a 2-lane blacktop. And then the blacktop turned into a gravel road. And then the gravel road took us into a deep, dark valley between the mountains. And did I mention that it started to rain at one point? And I'm not talking about little showers. I'm talking about thunder and lightning shaking us to the bone, sheets of rain pelting the car, wind howling to blow us off the side of the road, cats and dogs coming down. And then, of course, the GPS went out. Was it the rain, the remote mountains, or the fact that we used all our data? Who's to say? But either way, we were driving blind in a part of the country we'd never been in. We were woefully lost. The fact that I'm here saying this to you means you have some idea of how the whole story ended, but simply saying we made it out of our sticky situation wouldn't be giving the relief and joy we felt when we finally made it to our hotel, wouldn't be giving that feeling justice. Beer and pizza made just a fine celebration meal. There was no one to invite to join us, but you can be sure that that was the first story I told my family about the trip. I'm sure you have your own version of such a story of being lost and the relief and celebration and joy when you realize you no longer are when you are found. I imagine this is just a small microcosm of how God feels about you when you allow yourself to be brought back into the fold of God's grace and mercy and love, relief and joy and celebration. Relief that you did not continue to wander among deep, dark valleys, and joy that you didn't stay mired and hidden forever. Celebration breaks out in heaven. We can't help but celebrate. Because once, and probably if we're honest, many more times than once, we were lost. And now we are found. Thanks be to God. Thanks for joining me for this week's devotion. I hope you heard a word of grace about a God who seeks after you. And hopefully, if you're feeling lost right now, you know that God is out there looking for you. We but need to open our eyes. I can share this with someone that you think needs to hear it. And if you're around the internet or Fulton, you're invited to join us for worship at 10:30 on Sunday. You can find us on YouTube or Facebook or at 6 East 7th Street in Fulton, Missouri. We hope to see you there. God be with you till we meet again.